what's going on out there? This is Pete over at D.I.Y Auto School today. Located at SWR&C, that's Southwest Rod and Custom. Now we're over here working on our muscle car makeover, and in the last episode we went over all the body work. We got all the body work except for one dent that I see on this fender here. Let's look it over and see what we did.
Welcome to D.I.Y Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
So if we look right there, you can... So we finished the... Oh, you fuck-ass bitch. So we went ahead and finished the bodywork on the fender. This was the worst dent that we had, and basically it wasn't really a dent, it was more of a ripple. It looked like the bodywork wasn't finished when they painted it, or something happened to it at one time. And then, of course, we went ahead and cleaned up the little imperfections that we found, such as right here on the hood. We found a door ding or whatever it was right here on this front left fender. We found out that the rear end of this quarter panel had a lot of body work done to it, and we went ahead and ground that down thinking that that was metal. We found out that it was Bondo. We went ahead and fixed that and got it all back in order, so that's in good shape. And then we found another little ding way down here, real low, right in that area right there. You can see it. And then we basically went over it with a DA very lightly just to get the deep scratches out using our 80 grit DA paper, and cleaned it up even more than what Dylan and 214 did. So what's going on over here is that Dylan, Clown 940, is meticulously sanding down the quarter panel extension. Can you show everybody what's going on here? This is called a quarter panel extension, and what are you doing, bud?
Sanding it down, get it ready for primer.
Getting it ready for primer. Now what grit are you using on that?
Using 80.
Make sure you get this edge real good right here, and then also all this needs to be sanded down in there. Everything needs to be sanded thoroughly. Even the inside of this. Stay away from the silver paint. We'll probably repaint that silver, and don't break that. That's made out of cast pot metal. You understand?
Yep, got it.
And if you fuck the pot metal up, then I am liable of buying him a new one. So don't fuck it up, dude.
I know that.
So Clown Hat 940 and Clown 214 did a pretty good job on prepping this baby up. You can see that it was meticulously block sanded. We've already been over that, and that's really an important issue when working on one of these. It's very, very important to concentrate on your hand sanding techniques, using a hand block to sand this rather than air tools. And as we look down here on the quarter panel, it looks like we're getting ready to do our rust repair. This was the only rust that I found in it, and we're getting ready to fix that. So let's get on it, and I'm going to show you how to do a quick rust repair job on your muscle car makeover so we can get down the line and get this thing in primer. Alright, if we walk up to the rust repair that we're going to do, you can see that it has bubbles surrounding the area right there, and there's also a rusted out hole right in the corner of our rocker panel. I'm sorry, quarter panel. This is the lower quarter panel. This is not a rocker panel because a rocker panel is located right there. This is our rocker panel right here, whereas this would be our quarter panel area. But what we're going to do first, we're going to use our cutting wheel, and we will go ahead and start cutting out that area to see how far the rust actually goes before we start cutting out big areas such as what's marked on here. Alright, so what we're looking at here, once again, we got a rust hole that is right there in the corner, lower corner of our left rear quarter panel, and we're going to pray to God and hope that it doesn't go past this body line right here. If it goes around this corner, we're going to be screwed. So hopefully it's going to stop right in this area here, and we'll be all right. So there's two ways that you can actually fix this problem that we're looking at right here. You can go ahead and buy a quarter panel extension, which is a little piece approximately this big right here, and then you can cut out what you want to use to repair your rust. A lot of people think that when you buy those quarter panel patch panels that you got to replace it up in this area here, and you don't. All right, those are designed to fix a piece like this, for instance, or maybe if you just need to replace this lower section, you cut it off of that panel and then you use that. But what we're going to do, we are going to try to save the owner some money by making our own little patch panel out of 18 gauge steel and welding it in there, and hopefully that's going to work. Save me a lot of time and expense, and the owner money and expense. So always remember to use your safety equipment when necessary. We're going to use some safety glasses today. We're also going to wear our leather gloves. And to ensure that we don't lose our hearing later on in life, we're going to go ahead and wear a good pair of ear plugs slash fucking earphone son of a bitch bastard like this to protect our hearing as well. So we're just going to start out by cutting this out, and we're going to just go around the rusted area and see where it leads. We want to make sure that we keep nice square straight lines, because we don't want to have cocky lines this way and that way. We want to keep it a nice square uniform cutout as we remove our rust. So what I'm doing, I'm going approximately 1 inch all the way around where the rust is, and then I'll cut it out along this edge right here. And you can see why rust is caused, because of this area right in here where it collects a lot of dirt inside there, a lot of moisture gets in there, and what happens, it creates a moisture pocket which eventually starts rusting from the inside out. So it looks like we got all our rust out. The owner was lucky that it wasn't any worse than this right here. You can see just by the picture here that I'm showing you that you can see that we cut all the rust out and it's not rotting anywhere else around that. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and make a pattern using our 2-inch tape on this section right here, and then we will transfer it over to our 18 gauge steel, and then cut it out to fit in here and then weld this up. Before I do that though, I'm going to take some rust treatment and I'm going to go ahead and spray that inside here. And what that's going to do, that's going to convert this rust that we have right here, it's going to convert it into a black solid hardcore primer and kill the rust that's in there, and hopefully protect the car for many more years to come. Now that we've cleaned our area up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take some 2-inch tape, just like you see right here. I'm going to stretch it across my hole that I cut out. Make sure that it's nice and tight and stretched out. Now, if you notice, my gloves are dirty. My gloves have been used, so what I'm doing, I'm taking my fingers and I'm running it across the edge of our hole that we cut out. And then watch what this does when I pull the tape off. So when I pull the tape off, you can see that there's a pattern right there on the tape. Let's go over to the sheet metal, let's cut that thing out and get it inside the car so we can weld it on. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape, I'm going to find a nice straight edge on my metal here, And we are going to go ahead and find a straight edge that I cut out. And then we'll get that baby right there just like that. And then I'm going to push the tape down. And now what I did, I just transferred my design. Let me show you what we got here, because it's kind of hard to see. So what we got here, we got this line here that comes down here. And then this line here is going to come like that. Do you see what I'm doing here? And then this line here looks like it's going to come up in this area right here like this. Does that look like what we're looking at?
Oh, I didn't see the piece.
Okay, well, that's what we're looking at. And now we have made a semi piece of sheet metal out of 18 gauge that we can use on our car. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these two tools right here. We got our little Rollo-Lock grinder, our 2-inch grinder, 36 grit, and we got our cutting wheel. And now we're going to mold this to precisely fit in this hole right here. Alright, what I did to make the job easier of fitting this piece in there, I went ahead and welded me a piece of scrap metal on it to use for a handle, so I know that it's going to be and surely fit good. When you're handling it like this and you're trying to pop it in and out of there, it's a pain in the ass. So there's a little tech tip for everybody. Just tack weld a piece of scrap iron on there, scrap sheet metal, and then you can use it as a handle to fit inside the hole that we're working on. So as I take my piece to fit it in there, I see that either I'm going to have to grind this little lip off right here, or I'm going to have to grind the top of this. And if I feel that lip right there, it feels like there's some slag from cutting that off. So I'm going to take my grinder and grind this down to help fit this piece in there better. Alright, so I still see that it's a little bit tall, so now I'll go ahead and take my grinder. I'm going to grind that edge down just like I did this edge. And there it is right there. That's what we're going to go with. As you see, I use my grinder and my cutting wheel to make it where everything fits right. Let me go ahead and start welding that in, and then we'll see what it looks like. Now, the kind of welding that we're doing here, it's called butt welding. And when I say butt welding, we're taking the two pieces of metal and putting them together like that and then butt welding them together. Now, if this was a bigger piece and we had to replace this whole panel here, what I would have done is I would have cut this panel out, then I would have used my flange tool, and I would have made a lip right here that would have fit on, and then we would have had a flange for this piece to fit on, and the metal would have been flush, then we would have welded that on. But being a patch that this is right here, we're just going to go ahead and butt weld this little piece in there. Now, another thing that I noticed is this rocker panel, this quarter panel rolls like this and like that. And since we're working with a flat piece of steel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little handle that I made right here, and then I'm going to spot weld it starting over here. And then once I get that corner welded in, I'll go ahead and be able to take my body hammer and mold that into place as we work to the outside of the quarter panel. So you can see that having a little handle on here really helps out a lot when doing this type of work. Now that I got this quarter welded up, what I can do now is I can take a screwdriver and I can start molding that to the shape and form that our quarter panel is. Now that we got that welded, all spot welded around, we'll go ahead and finish out by welding it completely up and then grinding it down and getting it ready for body work. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off of here so it's out of my way. All right, now that we got it welded in, I'm gonna go ahead and take my cutting wheel, using the edge of it as a grinder to cut down some of the welding slag that we got on here. All right, I see a couple spots that I missed. Let me go ahead and get those. And now we'll finish grinding it down. And now we're ready to go ahead and do our body work, get this thing done so we can get it in primer. Let's get down the road. Let's finish this body work out. This is all we got left. When we come back, we're going to be putting this baby in 2K primer and getting it ready to block, sand, and paint.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.